Hello and welcome. We are talking about productivity under the banner of operations management. And when we talk of productivity, we need to understand what are the factors that affect productivity. We can be talking of productivity of machines, of manpower, but in general, we are talking of how an organization can improve its productivity, maximize the efficiency of the resources that is available to the organization or the industry or the manufacturing facility to ensure that they have better profits. What are some of the factors that affect productivity? Well, we all know that technology is evolving very, very fast. On a daily basis, you can probably hear about new technology that's come, AI, ML. It's evolving very, very fast. A decision that the organization or a manufacturing facility needs to make is whether to continue with the technology that is already available, that is already being utilized in that facility, or to upgrade itself to the latest technology. Probably there'll be a higher cost involved, but in the longer run, does it really help them to increase their profits? That's a decision that the industry has to make, the organization has to make, and the cost factor that is part of it, obviously. So the technical factors is a factor that contributes to the productivity. Of course, it goes without saying that probably the latest technology is always being updated, and the most latest sophisticated technologies always ensure that work is more streamlined and more smoother, and there's less effort. And so it always helps to have the latest technology, but of course the cost factor is also something that needs to be taken into consideration. Production factors. The production in all the departments. Of course, when you're looking at a manufacturing facility, you're talking of different verticals, different departments that handle different tasks or different processes. All these departments need to be coordinated, they need to be properly planned, they need to be controlled by people. The right quality of raw materials need to be used, and the process should be standardized so that in case new workers, new employees come in, then there is a standard procedure that everybody follows. It has to follow SOPs, the standard operating procedures. Every department needs to be streamlined in that way. It has to be a process-driven system. And so the production will definitely be impacted depending on the process that the departments follow and how standardized it is and how streamlined it is. Personnel factors. Well, when it comes to human beings, there's a lot of gray areas, so to speak, but with a lot of processes in place, with quality systems in place, it is very easy to ensure that the personnel factors also are not highly impacted, and that they also can be streamlined, the processes can be streamlined. Of course, selecting the right person for the right job is the most important aspect of personnel management. So when you're talking about personnel factors, if you have the right person for the right job, that's half of your work done. With proper training and development, that person can be upskilled and used probably for another department. Working conditions and the work environment of the facility has to be a priority, because when an employee is satisfied that he or she is being given a good work environment, then their productivity increases and they are properly motivated, financially, non-financially, morale. Suggestions of workers, because these workers are on the ground, they know what are the disadvantages, they know what are the challenges. So the suggestions that come from these workers need to be given importance. And there has to be a proper process of transfer of promotions and other personnel policies, so that an employee knows that he or she is taken care of really well, and that they feel the importance of themselves there, and the management goes the extra mile to make them feel important. So personnel factors is something that affects productivity. Organizational factor. When you're talking of organizational factor, you're talking of the organization, the internal workings or the subsystems of an organization. Everybody in an organization needs to have a role and a responsibility, or responsibilities which are properly defined. When an organization recruits new people, that person coming in should know exactly what his or her role is and what is expected out of that person. And the line between the staff relationships need to be really defined so that everybody knows who that person is reporting to, who is their team, who are their peers. And the conflict resolution has to happen very, very quickly. That is the responsibility of the personnel management, to ensure that conflicts are resolved quickly. There is also division of labor and specialization. If somebody is skilled for a certain task, the company, the organization must ensure that that person is put into that task to ensure that the person's skills are utilized and there is more productivity. Financial factor goes without saying, of course. Finance affects your productivity. An organization that has adequate finance, which has a proper financial planning and budgeting, forecasting, etc., and a control over their working capital and fixed capital, can definitely improve on their productivity. And over and underutilization of capital should be avoided. When you're talking of management factors, management of any industry needs to be very scientific, process-driven, quality standards-driven, future-oriented and competitive. Quite a few factors come into play when you're talking of the management. They should have creativity skills, they should have judgment skills, they should be willing to take risks, they should be able to foresee the future, the demands of the future. They should be able to see where each personnel needs to be placed, who needs to be upgraded, who needs to be upskilled, who needs to be motivated a little bit. Optimum use of available resource to get maximum output. Better relations with employees and trade unions, of course. Government factors. Well, proper knowledge of government rules and regulations is so important, and important to comply to those regulations and maintain a good relationship with the government. Location is so important. The industry or the manufacturing facility needs to be in a place where it is easily available, accessible to markets, sources of raw materials, etc. So these are some of the factors that contribute to the productivity of an organization, and all these factors are as important as the other. Thank you.